Sensenbrenner for an opening statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Like most Americans, I believe that there can and should be a proper balance between economic prosperity and environmental sustainability. Everyone wants clean air and clean water, and no one wants a sky-high electric and tax bill. But cap and tax programs don't come close to striking this balance. The huge reliance on offset means that emissions will merely shift overseas, and every study has shown that cap and tax will cause increases in utility rates, gas prices, and other economically essential activities. One statistic from the National Association of Manufacturers demonstrates the greatest danger of cap and tax: 3 to 4 million lost jobs. This is not the balance the American people are demanding, especially when nearly 15 million Americans are unemployed. Coal is the most abundant energy resource in the United States, and it generates nearly half of our country's electricity. Coal power plants built today emit 90% fewer pollutants like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and mercury than plants built in the 70s. Emissions from coal power plants have dropped 40% since the 70s, despite the fact that coal use has tripled, and the United States has nearly 1/3 of the world's total coal. Last week, the World Bank approved funding for a new coal-fired power plant in South Africa. There was heavy criticism from some environmentalists about this project, but the World Bank officials said that the benefits clearly outweighed the concerns. Faced with frequent blackouts and an aging infrastructure, the South African government said that the energy reliability of the plant would lift the economy and the standard of living for South Africans. The U.S. Treasury Department also noticed that there were no near-term viable low-carbon energy alternatives for South Africa. Coal is the only resource that could possibly keep this nation's economy on track. Despite this realization, the United States abstained from the World Bank vote. China is the world's biggest user of coal, burning nearly 3 times more than the U.S. China is also the world's largest emitter of carbon dioxide, but China is not willing to commit to an international agreement to cut CO2 emissions. The administration is trying to sell cap and tax on the false premise that it will create so-called green jobs. The President is correct when he says that his proposal to impose higher energy prices on American manufacturers will create jobs, but those jobs won't be green. However, they'll be red. As China's reliance on coal continues to grow with a surging economy, cap and tax will kill United States manufacturing and ship even more of our precious jobs to China. It's neither advantageous nor possible to abandon coal, but that's precisely what cap and tax proposes to do. The policy is proof that President Obama intends to make good on his campaign promise when he said, quote, "If someone wants to build a coal-fired power plant, they can. It's just going to bankrupt them because they're going to be charged a huge sum for all that greenhouse gas that's being emitted," unquote. At least for the foreseeable future, the world cannot meet its energy demands without coal, but the new technology can help lessen the environmental impacts of coal use. Researchers continue to advance carbon capture and storage technology, which holds the potential to drastically cut CO2 emissions from coal use. The test project at the We Energies power plant in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, last year successfully captured 90% of carbon dioxide emissions. As we speak, groundbreaking will begin on another test project in Bucks, Alabama. The 25-megawatt Berry power plant is expected to capture between 100,000 and 150,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year. The CO2 will be transported by pipeline to a site about 10 miles away, where it will be injected for permanent underground storage in a deep saline geologic formation. This project will attempt to demonstrate start-to-finish carbon capture and storage, and is one of the most important test projects underway that will advance development of this critical technology. And while carbon capture is part of the energy balance Americans demand, so are proven technologies like nuclear power and renewable technologies like wind and solar. Americans want a healthy mix of energy technologies that keep the environment clean and the economy humming. And that's why Republicans have always supported an all-of-the-above approach to energy. I would like to welcome our witnesses today, and I look forward to the testimony of Ohio Coal Association President Mike Carey, who will tell us more about the importance of coal in his state and for our country, about President Obama's war against coal. I have to apologize for leaving this hearing, but the Constitution Subcommittee, which I'm also the ranking member of, starts at 10 o'clock. So I'll read the testimony and I'll help defend the Constitution in the meanwhile. So thank you.
We thank the gentleman very much. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Washington State.